Well, first question from the fans. Is there any plan in place, long term or otherwise, to redevelop the main stand at Wadden Road?
I must say, first of all, John, there's some really good questions that have been asked. I did check on the forum and saw them all, and I've been sort of scratching my head out how I can actually answer some of these. This one obviously is an ongoing situation. I think, like all fans, we need to be aware of what other clubs are doing in terms of improving their facilities. And for us, it's really, really important that we continue to generate revenue outside of football. Frankly, we can't survive if we don't do that. Clearly, our main stand, probably you could argue, is not fit for purpose in many ways. And certainly, I would very much like to complete the jigsaw and get that stand redeveloped in my tenure as chairman. That is a huge challenge given the financial position of the football club. We could not put any money into that. So therefore we have to find partners who can help fund that. I don't think there's much grant available. We've used most of that up. So, it would have to be a self-funding, self-financing scheme with a housing partner or a commercial partner coming on board. Now that's been done before. Other clubs have done that, and Orient is one, but there are a couple of others I know of. And as we know in Cheltenham, there's huge demand for building houses, providing decent office accommodation, perhaps student accommodation, and being on the council as I am, I know what pressures those are to make sure we use land properly. So it's a long answer to an easy, straightforward question, really. The answer is we want to do something. We have drawn up some plans as to what a stand might look like. There are some conversations going on with the Borough Council. There is an opportunity potentially to do something which I can't really talk about now. Suffice it to say, there are some exciting opportunities ahead. But I don't want to set hairs running and start showing and talking about plans, and then people to say I'm just going up blind alleys and stuff like that. But really, we'd love to do it, but we can't afford to bankrupt the club to do something like that.
Along the same sort of lines, have you spoken to the council about their redevelopment plans for the prefabs?
Absolutely. We know they are our landlord. We are very important to that development, being adjacent to it, and quite clearly there's an opportunity with the council and the football club to work together for their mutual advantage.
Okay. What are the club doing to encourage cycling to games, and why is there always a fight for spaces on match days? Somebody obviously wants better cycling facilities.
Yeah. I saw that question, and I'm pleased it's been raised because I wasn't aware there was a problem. I know we have got one cycle rack there, and actually that was put in as a planning requirement when we built the Thompson Bank stand. We had a section 106 about the park and ride, and we also had a requirement to provide some parking for cycles. So we'll have a look at that and see if we can get another cycle stand put in, because clearly I'd like to encourage people to cycle to football and to walk to football. In fact, I'd like to encourage them to come to football full stop.
Yeah. Okay. Are the fan focus meetings still? Are any more going to be taking place, and what success have these brought about so far?
Well, I thought they were very positive. I think the fact that we've been able to deliver on some of the things that we discussed was positive, and shows from the fans' point of view that they weren't just a waste of time and something the club does just to pretend that we're listening to fans. I think we do listen to fans. We did make changes as a consequence of that. I think we have to hold our hands up and say we haven't organised the follow-up. I think there's been changes. Obviously, James was fairly involved in setting that up before. James has gone, and you're here, John. I think that's something that you need to add to your list. We need to get all those people together again, review what we discussed last time, and then take it forward with any further ideas. But one thing I've already said to you is to have a look at the feedback from the new caterers, see what we can learn from that, what's good, what's bad, and pick up on some of the other things that we talked about.
Okay. What are the club doing to encourage 12 to 17-year-olds along to supplement the work doing with junior age groups?
Well, I think we have tried to do quite a lot of work with the universities, trying to improve the number of students that come. I think our pricing structure we do offer concessionary rates for those groups of people. Aside from that, I don't think we've done anything specific, and I've always said we should be doing far more to work with sixth forms. Universities are fine, but a lot of those people sort of come from afar and don't necessarily buy into the local club, whereas local fifth and sixth formers hopefully do. So it's a good question. I haven't got a very good answer to it. I think the trouble is we have a small staff and lots of things we all want to do, and I haven't got any specific to report on that other than the existing pricing structures which we have, which I think are reasonably attractive. But then I look at what Gloucester City are doing with under 18s free. And it'd be interesting to know how that is working for them, because I know their crowds have gone up, but I wonder whether their revenue has gone up. And the bottom line for us, and whether we're talking about finances within this section, I don't know, but the bottom line for us is, I'm concerned about crowds, I'm concerned about revenue, and as soon as you start giving money away and giving free tickets away, you either have to make that up somewhere else, or you have to hope that lots more people come.
Commend you on the job you're doing, keeping the finances in order for the good of the club. However, can I ask you for a list of top 3 improvements or changes you're likely to make to benefit attracting supporters and crowds for the next 12 to 18 months, and what impact could they have?
Well, firstly, I wouldn't like to take the credit for the financial arrangements at the football club. I think Tim Kent is the financial director. He does a first-class job, and I can't sneak or spend a penny without asking Tim. So it's great to have someone like Tim on board who has got some very tough financial disciplines in place, which are absolutely essential. If anyone looks at football finance across the Football League, there are lots of clubs staying close to the wind. To be honest, we've been there, and I'd want to go there again. In terms of my top 3, that is difficult because the regime we're operating in, we just haven't got the ability to do one thing, let alone 3 things. I mean, if we could do things, obviously, I think pricing is something I'd like to look at. I'm not sure the premium games are working. I don't know about that. I think it is quite expensive to come and watch football. I'd like to try to do some more imaginative and off the wall pricing ideas. I think certainly what I'd like to do is increase the profile of the football club within the town. It's one thing doing it on our websites and doing it in our programmes and doing it in the Echo, but we touch such a small number of people that way, and I think if we could spend some money on some decent marketing PR campaigns throughout the town and beyond, I think that would be significant. The third one, I'm not sure. I think people get a good match day experience. I think facilities are good, the stands are good. But I suppose what I'd like to do is redevelop that third stand. And that's not a short-term thing, but that's certainly a long-term thing. And I think if we could do that, we could suddenly start to see a whole load of new revenue coming in with hospitality and conferencing, etc.
Okay. Will the board be looking to back Mark Yates in the January transfer market if we're pushing right up the table?
I think it's highly unlikely at this stage. I think today, with the FA Cup draw, is a big day for the club. The FA Cup, as we know, as fans will know, it's made a huge difference to us over the years. And I think if we can get a decent draw today and get through to the next round, and decent draw in that and get through, that makes a big difference between what we can do in January and what we can't. At the moment, I don't see us being able to do anything to support Mark in January. Therefore, it'll be up to Mark to look at all the loans that he's got and to send some of those back if they're not working before we can start bringing anybody in.
In the summer, you alluded to this being Mr Yates' last season as Cheltenham manager. Can you expand on this and update whether you still think this is the case, or are you likely to enter contract negotiations?
No, I think when I said that, I'm not sure whether I've been quoted out of context. I think it's my feeling was that I think we have got a very good manager on our hands who's got top level qualifications in the game, and that already this season, I don't know how many managers have lost their jobs, and every time a manager loses his job, it's an opportunity for another manager. And obviously, the Burton Albion manager's been talked about links with Birmingham City. I've no doubt in my mind, Mark wouldn't have been spending all his hours and hard work getting qualifications if he felt that he's going to be managing Cheltenham Town for the rest of his career. I don't want to see Mark go. It may well be that we talk about a new contract. We haven't done that yet. But I think at the time, I felt he'd been here quite a long time, and I think sometimes managers need to move on. Because they get, because players get used to them and the managers just want a new challenge. But personally at this stage, the agenda is the jury is out, and Mark may well be our manager next season.
The catering have vastly improved in the Thompson and Banks. However, you cannot order a beer with food, so you have to queue twice. Could this be changed to allow a better fan experience? Yeah,
this is what I want to do. I think and in fact, I spoke to the caterer last week to ask him how he felt it was going, and obviously he's been delighted with the additional games we've had with the Oxford game, the Bristol City game, and Gloucester City have had extra games in the Cup. So for him, he came in a good revenue stream for us, which was a commitment for him. He didn't know how it was going to work. It's working well, but clearly it's new for him as it is for the fans who are buying drinks and stuff from him. So we want to do a proper survey, John. Let's get that up and running, and these are the sort of things that we can then go back to the caterer and say, can you have a look at this?
There's another one on the same lines. The bar in the Bristol Street Motor Stand is a great enhancement and has grown more popular with each game. Could it possibly have a roof during the winter months when it's bound to rain a lot? Yeah,
absolutely essential, because obviously people can't take drinks into the stand itself. So we have been looking, and I need to speak to Colin about that. We have been looking at doing putting a roof coming off the back of the Bristol Street Motor Stand to provide that cover, because at the end of the day, people aren't going to drink out in the wet.
Does the club plan to address the gap with schemes aimed at traditional core footballing demographic? This fund's concerned about 18 to 40, because it all seems to be about families, young teens or OAPs.
Well, what I would say, you talk about 18 to 40, a lot of people in the 18 to 40 bracket are married and got children. So for that bracket particularly, I think we've got a very attractive proposition, bringing their children for nothing. But clearly there's a lot of people in that, people nowadays are getting married later, having families later, so there will also be a lot of people in that bracket, men and women, who haven't got those commitments and just want to come along to football with mates or indeed on their own. So what are we doing about that? Nothing specific, but I'm not sure that any other football clubs have necessarily identified that area and decided that they need to do something special for them. I suppose they are our core demographic. That those were a lot of the people that come to our games, although a lot of people come to our games are retired. But like I said before, at this level, revenue from ticket sales is absolutely crucial. And if we start tinkering around with the main demographic group and reducing prices there to make it more attractive, we have to make that money up from somewhere else. And until someone can come up to me with alternative solutions, we're really going to struggle to introduce cheaper tickets for any group, because we have to make that money up from somewhere else.
Okay. There's a couple of questions about clashing with racing in Champions League. I know it's difficult to avoid that, isn't it? But do the club do everything they can to avoid?
Do you mind? This is a huge angst for all of us at the football club, because there's nothing worse for me and the board and Paul Godfrey to have fixture lists clashing with Champions League football or race meetings. And this is a football league problem. The football league have got it within their powers to sort this out. And we have a huge problem every time. We're able to get one or two fixtures changed because of the bigger racing fixtures. But I think we had one recently which clashed, and our gate was quite a long way down for that game because it clashed with the racing. And I don't know how much racing had to do with that, but it would have had an impact. So I think the Football League needs to look after its member clubs better. And listen to their concerns and allow more fixtures to be changed and more flexibility. I think actually clubs will be quite capable of talking to each other and saying, rather than that fixture on a Champions League night, let's change it to a week later or a week earlier or something. I don't see at all why clubs can't have more power to arrange their midweek fixtures, because there are certainly times where it clashes with a Champions League match and the following week there isn't a Champions League match.